Hey y'all, Mythic Rare here, and this canvas that you see in front of you is Adrina from the Mermaid Cavern, Enabler's Outpost pen, Enabler's Outpost pen again, Random Amazon pen, and Donna Bass pen, and then Bijou Bliss Drills and Chills tray because it's the only pet proof one that I have with a magnetic lid, and then this is from DP with Sparklers. Yep, that is my usual suspects in a nutshell. I have all different kinds of wax in all of my pens because super sticky. My go-to is not doing it for me with this adhesive. The adhesive on this canvas is too weak for that, so my drills constantly stay stuck in my pen. I have a combination of pink and blue wax inside of all of these, along with regular scented patty wax, because hard wax putty does not work well with this adhesive. Keep in mind, I am in the middle of Oklahoma, and we just had an ice storm pass through on Monday, and we've had a whole bunch of rain earlier in the week. So for all we know, it could just be the fault of my climate. But with that being said, feel free to get out any crafting projects, work alongside me, or do chores, drive, whatever it is you want to do. Let me keep you company as I talk about rant about my doggo shenanigans. So, last we left off, we had adopted a dog named Rylee. Well, technically, my boyfriend's mom decided to adopt a dog named Rylee. My boyfriend Alex was on board. Ron was kind of having some of the same sentiments as me, but they had ultimately decided to pull a their house, their rules card, and I am living here rent free, so I am just like, yeah, I am just gonna try my best to make peace with this dog, and absolutely, if we wind up going the 3 months, the 3 weeks, 3 months, the 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, time periods, and at the end of 3 months, I cannot with this dog, then it means I just need to sock up money and move out. We are at the stage where it is about 3 weeks. There should be noticeable improvements in the dog's behavior. I mean, yeah, like there has been. She can go about 20 minutes before she starts whining, yowling, carrying on that her parents have left home. We did not get this information from the previous owners or from the pound, but we found this out through experience just by running errands and such, that Rylee has separation anxiety, and if left to her own devices, she will resort to destructive chewing. She has broken out of her crate in under 10 minutes. How we figured that one out is I set up this phone out in the kitchen and left it recording as we went and we did things. And even though, like, the crate wasn't in full view, she was making so much noise that when she busted out of the crate, it peaked the mic. And when I pulled my footage into Adobe Premiere, I heard, like, the big rattle and stuff like that. So I knew like 10 minutes into the video, just by analyzing the audio peaks and valleys, that she had busted out of her crate. It gets even better because we're a little bit more prepared, right? We've, at this point now, January 26th, we have ordered and installed a pulley system outside. We routinely clip her to it, and then she can just run back and forth for like a 20-foot radius in between these two huge oak trees right next to our trailer. We have 5 acres for those who don't know. And yeah, that way she can like chase squirrels, chase birds, just like chill outside and live her best doggy life whenever she needs to be outside. Sometimes clipping her to the dog pulley doesn't always go according to plan. So usually about 8:30 in the morning, Andrea tries to clip Rylee to the dog pulley. And we have to have a pulley system rated for a 200-pound dog because she has, by the way, ragdolled me. She's had Andrea fall multiple times because she pulls like as soon as she gets out the door. And then same thing with Alex and with Ron. It doesn't matter who, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? So Andrea decides to take Rylee outside, and because it's just like her normal time when we let her out, she saw a squirrel and she wanted to go after that squirrel so bad. Like squirrel, 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 squirrel. And she knocked Andrea over, and because Rylee has ran before, like, Andrea had a retractable leash hooked onto her, and just like at the rate that the force that she pulled, she took off with the retractable leash still attached to her harness. Like she was gone. Like, Andrea did not stand a chance with getting her onto the pulley. It was drizzling outside. So it's been warmer than what it has been here in Oklahoma in like recent last few weeks. But still though, it was a really sucky situation. Andrea couldn't get up. She tried. I let her have a moment. She still couldn't get up, and mind you, it's 15 minutes before the start of my shift. So I like tell her, put your arm around my shoulder and I'm gonna see if I can get you up. And I like gave her the tightest bear hug and just like heaved her up onto her feet. So she's able to like get inside, and I'm just like, I could probably get into the underbrush, but I'm gonna be late for my job, and there's no telling how long it would even take for me to get to Rylee. And Andrea's like, yeah, I understand. I'll call Ron. I'll ask him to take a long lunch. And we'll have him get Rylee unstuck. Because we're like looking out the windows of the trailer and she's stuck in the underbrush in the wooded area of our property. So I log into my work computer. I'm doing my thing, doing my job. And then Ron comes, he gets the dog unstuck, he goes back to work. Fast forward to 30 minutes before I'm about to get out of work. I could hear, like, in the quiet of some of my phone calls, like just the natural gaps in the conversation and whatnot, that they were gonna take Rylee outside and they were gonna teach her about the electric fence that we just installed. Because unfortunately, with this dog, we have to have that kind of setup. It's nothing where she is getting like lethally, like it's meant to like teach not to be lethal is what I'm trying to say. It's not like electric chair kind of intensity. It's enough to, like, if you've ever played with one of those prank pens and you click the button and you get jolted really good and you're just like, ah, that hurt. Same concept as the electric fence. You put the matching collar for it on the dog and they get that kind of a jolt. I don't know if Rylee like saw something. I think Ron said that she had sniffed something that she wanted after really bad, and she just completely ignored the beeping and the zap from the electric fence, and she just took off into the woods. And she had pulled with such a ferocity that the retractable leash they were using earlier in the day had just completely snapped. So she's like running around with this bright yellow green leash on her, and Ron's just like holding the retractable end of it. We don't know if maybe it got caught on like brambles or who knows what when she was stuck in the woods the earlier that day, but she somehow managed to break the leash. And she went all over. She went back into the woods across, like directly across the street from us. We tried with the neighbor there, and she's like, oh yeah, absolutely, like have at it, search as much as you need. They didn't find her. And then I eventually finish my shift. I come out and I see everybody is visibly upset, so I ask like what happened, and they said that Rylee escaped again. But this is like the first time that she's ever broken a leash. And I am just like, what, huh? She broke the leash? And it's just, yeah, like my mind is still just trying to wrap around what actually happened. So I eat some dinner really quick and I put on some different clothes. I actually put on snow boots because of how wet it was outside, and I go walking with Alex with a flashlight trying to find this dog. We went to another one of our neighbors and they said that they've seen Rylee, but she isn't with them at the moment. She took off and ran somewhere else. So then it's like, wonderful. Still gotta keep searching. And what I decided to do in the midst of all this chaos is I decided to post on Nextdoor because I figure it's the up and coming thing. Basically acts like neighborhood watch. I'm just gonna post about how our dog is missing. So I do that, and I just turn my phone up as loud as it can possibly go. Oh no, I just realized I had accidentally flip-flopped a color, y'all. That is just great. And this is why I love tweezers. Because I accidentally put them down as A, but these are not A, these are for the letter O. But anyways, back to our story. The dog, she had jetted off into the woods. And we thought, like, well, there's this creek that she likes to go to and hang out. She wasn't there. We go to our neighbor to the left of us, ask around, have you seen our dog? No, we haven't. Sometimes she'll run past, but she didn't do so today. So we struck out there, but I still am just like, I'm still not the person where, even though I may have my scruples with this dog, I'm not like cruel enough to just leave a dog out while it's like in the freezing drizzle. I'm like, I don't want to see people upset or sad. Like, I'm not even though I didn't agree to the dog, I'm not malicious. I'm not like mean or anything. I'm just like, it's not my dog. It shouldn't be my problem. But if there is no peace in my house, in a way it kind of sort of is. So I am just like crossing my fingers and like hoping that something is going to come through on next door. We were about to walk all the way to the end of our street and see if maybe Rylee had gotten into our other neighbor Robert's like barn, because he has cows and we know that she has a previous history with cows and it wasn't good. And Alex and I were like, I don't know, maybe just coming up to his property, about to go into the driveway, when my phone just kept on giving me like the noise for notifications and it wouldn't shut up. So I'm just like, I need to check this real quick. I need to see if it's something. So I go, and sure enough, it is next door. This girl named Ashley was like waving at me and like trying to get my attention really bad. So I went ahead and I hit accept, and she's like, I found your dog. He's like, I'm taking her to my car. I can have her, I can probably swing by in a few minutes. Where are you at? So I gave her our location, and then she's like, oh yeah, you're just a few streets over, like we'll be there in a second. And I was like, cool. I just like motioned Alex to come over, and I'm just like, I don't want to say anything because like, what if it's just some like random dog? Or actually, no, Alex was the one saying that. Like, I don't want to say anything because what if it's some random person's dog? Like, let's just kind of wait for her to come by, and we will jump for joy when we positively ID the dog. So Ashley and her daughter show up. They are just like, hey, were y'all the ones posting from next door? And I'm just like, yeah, that's us. And she's just like, is this your dog? And she rolls down the window, and sure enough, escape artist Rylee is in the back seat. And I'm just like, yes. So she unlocks the door. Alex opens up the car door and immediately like grabs with a white knuckle death grip onto her harness. He is like, I am not letting go until there's a leash. And Ron just like comes over, and he is just like busting out in tears of joy. Just completely went from like heartbroken to over the moon. And he is just like, I'm not letting go until we get inside. Like back home. And it was a very tears of joy, reunited, and it feels so good. And I think that I have everything all cleaned up with the color swap on accident. But yeah, it's oddly quiet right now because Rylee tends to go out onto the dog run at like 8:30 in the morning. So right before I started this, I went and I put her out there. So after I get done, I intend on bringing her back inside. But yeah, like that's kind of where we've been at with escape artist Rylee. Like, as soon as I got out of work on Wednesday, she had us searching out in the woods while it was drizzling at 40 degrees for a good couple hours. And the thing doesn't end with just Ashley and her daughter handing over Rylee. We had a very interesting conversation with these two gals because they, ever since Rylee came up to them about 6:30-ish, which would have been like she ran 2 streets over in just like the span of a few minutes, found these 2 ladies and was like trying to play with them and stuff like that. And they also have dogs. So she went ahead, took Rylee inside, and took her to the vet trying to find who the owner was. And they pulled up the previous 2 owners, but they didn't pull up us. So they started like analyzing the files and everything on the microchip, and they actually told us more about our dog than what we found out on adoption day. They said that there has been a DNA test for her already by a previous owner. She is husky. She's like a mix between a husky, a pit bull, and something else. I don't know if the third one was Australian cattle dog or what, but she is a mix of a few different things. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so husky, that's probably why she cannot be left alone. And then it's like, oh no, well, she would do better with having more dogs, but we are not equipped to have more than one dog. And then these gals were saying like, oh yeah, we used to have a husky as well, and the only way that we kept him contained and on our property, if a situation called for us leaving him all by himself, is they basically had to construct a batter's cage with a cement base for it, so it's like completely enclosed and chain link fence like for the top, and then the foundation of it is concrete buried underneath like several feet of earth that way. And it's got like a door that you can, like, of course, open up the enclosure and then you can lock the door. Like, that is how these 2 kept their husky contained. It's probably what we would have to do here, but not my dog, not my problem, and certainly not my money financing that sort of apparatus. But apparently, she's had a few names before. Her very first name was Wild Strawberry from the original, like from the people who very first had her. Then after that, she was rehomed, and the next owner had named her Tenix, but then there's a third name on there for her also called Z. So it's like two owners, three previous names, like, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, are we the third time's the charm, or are we, like, actually owner number 4? But yeah, it's like depending on how she behaves, she all of our schedules get mixed up, and it's been making it somewhat hard to produce the content that I want for this channel. The only reason why I can even do this weapon chat right now is because she is outside and I am kind of the only one home. But yeah, mainly it's all been focusing on getting her adjusted and everything, and in a lot of respects, like, we are starting to see her calm down, but then it's like, just when we think that things are getting better, she'll go through about like this where she will um like she will go and like just get away from us and like just go running all over the neighborhood. Um Sometimes if Alex's parents don't watch her too closely, she will straight up steal and destructively chew. So there was another night a week ago where they had made a roast inside of a crock pot. They had like all the veggies and everything laid out for me. It was on the counter. It was pushed pretty far back on the counter. And they had like the meat out there too because they had to go run an errand and stuff, and they knew I was going to be off in like 15 minutes. I come out, there was only the vegetables, there was no meat for me. And I had just assumed, like, well, I was late to the party because I was working. I'm just gonna have some leftovers and I am just gonna call it good. Alex's parents come home and they're just like, did you have any, like, why aren't you eating the roast? I'm just like, what roast? There was like nothing there but vegetables. And then he's just like, but we left like 2 huge pieces of meat. And then they look at the counter closer and they're just like, why are there vegetables everywhere? And I'm just like, I don't know, it was like that. I just ignored it and I just got my own food. So somehow Rylee had gotten up there and she had eaten the roast. There have been times where she's gotten a hold of a pack of hot dog buns and she's straight up eating the hot dog buns. And we make sure that we have a decent amount of food in her bowl at breakfast time, like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then right around 6, 7 o'clock at night when we're eating dinner. She chewed through like 3-4 squeaky toys already and just like ripped out this squeaker and just like completely shredded them. She chewed one of Ron's pillows. Yeah, this dog does not come in my room. Pretty much as soon as she gets in here, I'm immediately telling her, no, get out. Yeah. I don't know exactly what percentage of husky she is, but it's like whatever amount that is, it is like really, really strong in her because the separation anxiety is real. But then again, if she's like had 3 owners before us, or the whole thing about her being in the pound for that long, like I can kind of see why. But sometimes separation anxiety that I've been like reading up on it like you have to play the long game with that can take anywhere from 2 to 3 months of just like getting that out of the dog. And I am just like, okay, well, we're already part of the way there. It's already been 1 month. And yeah, it's like I'm in this like super weird place because I was super attached to our dog Roger. I had him on a really good routine where I would come out from work, I would take him on a walk. He was an active dog, but he was like a lot more well behaved. And like we'd take him on a walk, we would feed him immediately after, and it would usually be time to right around dinner, and that way to minimize begging for food and everything. But it seems like letting this dog out at 8:30 in the morning is kind of like the only sense of routine that we've been able to establish with her thus far. I mean, that first week was pretty much a wash because the holiday, New Year's, everybody's schedules were weird, and it was just, it was what it was. The next thing that threw a wrench in the schedule, probably for her, is the fact that certain days of the week I will go do allergy shots. And then for a while I couldn't go because Alex had the you know what, so he couldn't go to work and stuff, and it was just So I'm sure that dog is like all kinds of levels of confused because now Alex is better. He's gone back to work since. I am going to hold off on allergy shots just because I tested for it and I was negative, but still don't want to take chances in case he's shedding the virus. I'm immune, but somehow can still pass it to someone who may not have as strong of an immune system as me, you know? So, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I'm gonna have to repeat my last shot, but it is what it is. Oh, yes, love those crunchy sounds from the drills. So satisfying. But yes, those are my latest doggo shenanigans. I really need to get going, have coffee, and make sure that I can start work on time. So I will talk at you guys later. And yeah, see ya. Bye.